Hello my friends, this is Jeannie. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I want to share with you days 8 through 15 of my Oddtober 2024 daily. Oddtober is a monthly prompt series, challenge, event, pick a word. It is hosted by April, who is Pink Odd Bird, and Priscilla, who is Released a Craftin'. Essentially, you have 30 days of prompts, and these prompts tell a story. The theme being in October is obviously Halloween or kind of spooky vibed. This has been an ongoing series. I believe it started in 2022. I participated in 2022. I did not participate in 2023 because it was carnival theme. That just wasn't my vibe. I did pick back up in 2024. It's a continuing story, but I have been treating them as standalone stories. If you didn't see my first year participating in Oddtober, be sure to check it out. I will link it down below. Let's start with day 8. As I drive past, I see something else just outside the cave entrance. It looks like the same older man in suspenders from the carnival. Clearly, I did not do the carnival. I don't know who this man is. So the man we're seeing is the same man we saw in that cave tunnel. Just a close-up version. So I started by creating a pocket. Black gesso is the foundation for both these pages. Down here, I added some of that blue metallic wax to create a night sky. Here, I used my grit paste and a stencil of a spider web to create this texture to kind of mimic the texture of the tunnel. Oh, what I would envision is the texture of the tunnel cave. And then I added some splatters of red to create kind of an illusion of blood, because there's something creepy and obviously deadly going on in this spooky forest. Here is, I also added an eyelet and some keys. No particular reason, just because I like the keys and it's just something different. I'm gonna have to tilt a lot of these pages up because there's a lot of reflection. The light is reflecting. I think it's probably because of the glossy paints and whatnot. So here's the tag. This tag I created using some Tim Holtz metallic craft stock. It was black metallic. I took a sander, sanded some of the surface off, creating a scratchy texture. You can probably see it. Then I went in with some Gilder's paste wax in antique gold, and then I used a distress crayon. The color was black soot. Just blended those two to create this interesting surface. I love the scratchy, that you can see the scratches. Love that. Then some white paint splatter. This image is an image from a book that I've been harvesting for several years now. Seems every spooky season I reach for that book to pull some images. It's a book about, it's an illustrated book about blues, and it has poems and some music and stuff in there, but the illustrations are just awesome. I alter them a lot using my distress crayons to give them a spookier vibe, and that's what I did here. And in the front, I attached a poem from that same book. It was called A Voice from the Grave, and it's about blues music, so I'm not going to read it, but I just love the title of it. I thought it was appropriate for this book. Then I added some metallic ribbon here at the top in purple and black to kind of pick up on the purple and black here. So that was day 8. We have a creeper outside the tunnel. Okay, so day 9, here's day 9. Deciding to take my chances in the cave, I floor it past the lurker. I've been driving for ages. I hear the laughter of children and see the shadow of trick-or-treaters in my headlight. Okay, well, here are our trick-or-treaters. I used some Tim Holtz ephemera because, you know, we have a lot of creepers in the forest, not just in the cave. She's in for a surprise. A lot of ghostly creepers. Who they are, where they came from, We don't know. Don't know that we will ever know, but they are definitely there. So this is what she sees in her rear view mirror. She sees a group of ghostly trick-or-treaters. Of course, there's a kind of spooky vibe about them. Is that a skeleton she sees floating behind them? I don't know. Could be a figment of her imagination. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's the spirit of the spooky forest. Who knows? We have a 31. Also Tim Holtz ephemera that I used some of that same antique gold wax to highlight. This is Tim Holtz ephemera. I cut it in half. You'll see the other half in a later page. And of course, the black gesso for the wind in the background with some white splatter. I used some corrugated cardboard to ground my images because I need them grounded. And that is day 9. So let's move on. Here is day 10. There's the other part of that moon. Day 10. I hear several loud pops and I start to lose control. I brake hard and get out to see my tires are flat and there's a bunch of candy on the road. Candy with razors? Well, clearly I don't have candy, but road is definitely funky. It's covered with grit paste in this case to create some texture, and you have that same corrugated cardboard. The same ground I use here to ground these kids she saw in her headlights, in her rear view mirror, I also used to ground the car. This is the vehicle she's driving, the car. It's an old-timey car because I figure this happened long time ago. This is nothing recent. It's an old spooky forest and somebody's telling a story, something that happened long ago. So just to create some flow between days 9 and 10, I use the ground to kind of tie them together. Here we have that moon. So think of it. This is her view after she gets out of the tunnel. Hence, there's the moon. This would have been her view as she's in the tunnel moving past it. So that's why the moons are positioned in complete opposite directions, if that makes sense. I used a stencil and a VersaFine pen to create kind of like a feminine figure in the sky. Then I embossed it with some gold embossing powder, and I used some gold ink to just fill in some of the features. So here we have a girl who is driving this vehicle. Now she's having to abandon the vehicle and enter the spooky woods, I would imagine, and some white paint splatter. So here's day 11. Day 11, great. Now I have to walk. I make it out of the tunnel unscathed. I need to find some shelter for the night. I've got to rest. Walking along the side of the road, I see an abandoned treehouse. Well, here's my play on it. Instead of an abandoned treehouse, is an abandoned house. Again, there's that familiar background that I've been creating on all of these pages, which makes sense because it's a continuing story. This is all happening within seconds, these events of each other. So you're always going to have that same background unless the story takes a turn. And I used some Tim Holtz paper. This is his heavy duty black stock, heavy stock paper, to create kind of like a mound or a hill that this house is on. That same grit paste to create some texture. I did grunge up the house a little bit using the Distress crayons, Ground Espresso, Black Soot. There was a green one as well, I forget the name. But created some lines in the background to kind of mimic trees. I did that with my Stabila Awe pen. And I added a little dog because why not? So this is the house that she came across. That's day 11. Here's day 12. I made it to the treehouse in time. It just started raining. The inside of this treehouse looks like it belonged to a kid. So here we have some Tim Holtz worn wallpaper. I think it's what it's called. I used that and some stickers from my antiquarian book, Kids Room. I figured you have a card game, a doll. I put in a jar with the moon and some stars to kind of pick up this sky vibe over here. I picked it up here using that sticker, grounded them with a piece of black cardstock, some red paint. It's actually watercolor paint to create some splatter. These images were much more brighter than they are right now. I grunged them up and dulled them down a little bit using my distress crayons. I didn't want to dull them down too much. They needed to be dull. They needed to be pushed back a little bit, but I wanted to keep some of the color because it is technically kid stuff. Kid stuff tends to be a little brighter than other things around it. This is a pocket. So inside of this pocket is a tag with day 13. So let me read day 12 again. I made it to the treehouse in time. It just started raining. The inside of this treehouse looks like it belongs to a kid. The weirdest thing was, there's some sort of gallery wall in here. Pictures of people. Is that my relative? Oh, and the smiling man? And who's that woman? So I used some Tim Holtz. Oh my gosh. What do they call photo strips? And I used the ones that were in his Halloween, one of his Halloween sticker books. And so these are my portraits. They are creepy. The background is some more of the worn wallpaper by Tim Holtz. I used black gesso to just kind of frame it so that your eye can't help but to focus on the center here. And these two wonderful, creepy, really looking people. Notice the red splatter. There's definitely a story here. I don't know that we want to know it, but there's something going on in these woods. There's something going on in this house. It might have something to do with these two folk, but we don't know yet. People disappearing, ghostly figures everywhere. If I were you, sweetie, I'd just turn around and go home. I used some corrugated cardboard just to create a little tab here. So that's day 13. Day 14 is on the back of this. This is too weird. I'm miles away from their house. I find a box in a corner. It has some packets of food I haven't eaten in hours. Is it really food? She thinks it's packets of food, but it's really bugs. She sees food, but the reality is this is what's there. So maybe she's spellbound. Who knows? She might already, it might already be too late for her. The minute she crossed into those woods, she might have been trapped and put under a spell. Here's day 15, the last day. Day 15 reads, these food packages are strange. They almost look like spell or potion labels. I sure hope this magical food takes away my hunger. So here we have, I'm going to remove the tag. Actually, I'm going to also cover this back page because it can be a little distracting when they're back to back like that. So I use some Tim Holtz ephemera. No, it's not Tim Holtz ephemera. It was some ephemera from a different collection. Don't even remember the name of it. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. I used some of this. This collection had some potion bottles inside. You could kind of see them there. They were very bright and cheery. So first thing I did was grunge them up with some black gesso and my distress crayons. And then I took some labels from one of Tim Holtz ephemera packs, Halloween ones, and just added those. This is a sticker of a bird in a cage, because why wouldn't you have a crow or a bird in a cage? This is just a dimensional sticker of a wine glass or goblet. And I have here apothecary. So clearly what she thought was food, what she sees as food, she's clearly under some kind of a spell cast by who knows. And they're using all of these potions from their little apothecary to create this illusion that's compelling her to eat something that she thinks is yummy food, but in fact it's not. Okay, so that's day 15. I love the way this worked out. This is like a bread bag from the supermarket, and I try to create the back of day 14 so that when it slides into this pocket and you see it, it can play with the elements from day 15. So here we have the potions that cast that spell that made those bugs look like candy. So that's it. That's my share, my friends, days 8 through 15. And I am so enjoying this. I hope to continue to share these with you. My next share on this will probably be next weekend. My rhythm, or what seems to be working for me, is I don't do them daily. I start Friday, end of work day, and I'll work on them Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And in this case, I continue working on Monday because it was a holiday, so I had the day off. So I took some time to do a couple of extras and film this video. So I'm doing them more weekly, but still caught up. So that's a good thing. So that is my share for this video, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate you. And I will catch you all in my next video. See you all in my next video, my friends. Until next time. Bye-bye.